I couldn't make my bed, couldn't clean my house. I always felt sort of like out of it and scattered. Obviously, initially tired.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Just unable to get through the day.
Yeah.
Would sleep, wake up totally unrefreshed. And I had a lot of pain. If I went out to like run an errand, like to the grocery store or the market or something, I would use like a motorized scooter or something to get around because of the pain I was in. Things had to change. How could they possibly continue in the same direction? I mean, if someone said, oh, make this choice and in 5 years from now, you're going to be in Australia hiking and sitting on talking to Toby, I would be like, what? Yeah. Right? I didn't know that then.
True. Lauren Giammarco, all the way from USA. I love saying that. Here in Australia, at the headquarters of CFS Health. Welcome. So good to have you here.
Yeah, it's so great to be here. So great. Yeah.
It's surreal because when I met you, you were kind of at rock bottom when you were going through chronic fatigue syndrome. And to have you here 5 years later, I think, or 4.5, 5 years later, fully recovered as a team member.
Yeah.
Literally, you were upstairs in the office before coaching someone who's going through the recovery journey themselves, and I got to meet that member. I jumped into the office, said hi, and she was looking so well. She's only been in the program for I think 3 or 4 month, and I said, oh wow, her skin's really got a lot of colour. And you said, yeah, she's improving really, really fast. So it's just really, really cool and wild at the same time to like see this transpire for you, and then you also give back and help other people. So it's amazing. I can't wait to talk about all the fun stuff. But before we get there, I want to kind of go back to before we met. What was going on in Lauren Giammarco's world?
Yeah, so before we met, I was really, I guess running on empty would be the best way to describe it. So working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, corporate job, plus running a business. And I was traveling a lot, but at the end of the day, not taking care of my health in the way that I should be. I thought I was healthy. I thought it was normal to like crash and burn at the end of the day. And just even like relationships in my life weren't aligned. There wasn't a lot of intentional living. And I was feeling that in my body, but not quite sure what was happening.
What was going on.
Yeah.
And eventually you found out that you had chronic fatigue syndrome.
I did.
What was that process like?
Yeah. So I was on a road trip traveling from San Francisco to Los Angeles with my cousin, and I had to fly home early because I got so sick on that trip. And then I got home and I wasn't getting better. A month went by, 2 months went by. I was actually getting worse. And I didn't know what was wrong. I was going to doctors. They were telling me to take more antibiotics, get my tonsils out because I kept getting like swollen glands and throat infections. And it was very confusing. And I actually did the research myself and said, okay, I think this is what's happening.
Wow.
And I didn't get that answer from a doctor. I kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together myself through intuition. And I knew that I needed to find a way forward that looked very different than what I was doing at the time.
Yeah, the traditional medical route. You're a really rare case of how fast you got practical help. I asked you the other day, like, how long were you unwell for? And, from start to finish, it was around 2 years. And I think it was only that short a period of time. It's still a long time, but for many people, it can take 5, 6, 7 years to even get to the point of looking for practical help. But you kind of like fast forwarded that piece of just like going straight into like, okay, what can I do to help myself get better? What do you think, like, what made you do that? Is that just who you are as a person? Tell us about that.
I would say a couple of things. I didn't, and I've said this to you before, I didn't want to identify with CFS. I wanted to identify with someone who was going to get well. And I had a talk with myself about what that would require.
Tell me more about that.
I knew that obviously when your body is screaming at you, right, through symptoms, through fatigue, it's asking you for rest, but also to listen and pay attention. And I knew that in order for me to, I had to live in a different way. Things had to change. How could they possibly continue in the same direction? And I know that it is rare that I caught on to that quickly.
Yeah. You do realise how rare that is, yeah. Now obviously, because you help people with it, but back then it blew my mind how I think we had a call when you joined, and we had a call with one of our team members, and it was just like, oh, how long ago did you find CFS Health? And you were like, oh, like a week ago.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Before joining the program, was there any hesitations, about joining the program?
No. And I know that that's, again, not always what people say. But here's why.
Yeah.
I was coming from doctor appointment after doctor appointment and not getting anywhere. And I knew that I needed a plan from a place of community and understanding. And I listened to your story when I found you very randomly on the internet. I don't even know.
Yeah, right. Always the way, somewhere on Google or Facebook or Instagram, yeah.
Right. And I knew that you had been through this. And I knew that you had helped so many people, and that there was going to be a very comprehensive plan, like through that knowing, right, and that experience. And that was important to me. And I felt just sort of this like, yes, this is the thing. This is the place for me. And so I didn't hesitate because it's my health. Like, what are we without our health?
No, it makes total sense. And at the same time, it's like, it takes longer to make those decisions for themselves. And it's probably because, for those 6 to 12 or, 2, 3, 4 years, they try a million different things. They don't get anywhere. They feel like, the next thing's going to fail. And so I think you were just blessed to find the right thing early and just get on with it.
Yeah.
What changed when you joined the program for you?
So I felt the biggest thing was that in the slowing down, I started to understand body wisdom. I started to feel my mood began to stabilize slowly. My digestion started to feel better.
You mentioned that you started to get your appetite back.
Yeah,
I think nausea and lack of appetite's a big one.
Yeah, that was big for me. I had a lot of gut health issues.
Yeah.
And I think because I slowed down, my body started to come to a little more balance. And so those were the initial changes for me.
What were the biggest symptoms that were present at the start?
Pretty intense brain fog. Not feeling like grounded. I always felt sort of like out of it and scattered. Obviously, initially, tired.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Just unable to get through the day.
Yeah.
Would sleep, wake up totally unrefreshed. And I had a lot of pain.
Body pain.
A lot of physical pain. That was probably the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. And as you started the program, and we'll go through, some of the things that were most helpful for you. You mentioned today before off air that within a few months, you kind of started to notice that your symptoms started to decrease. What were some of the noticeable things, just that you probably weren't aware of at the time, but looking back, you're like, oh yeah, what are some things that you started to notice from a lifestyle perspective or just like a daily waking up perspective?
Yeah, my sleep got better, and I felt less brain fog. I felt that I felt a little more like present in my body, not so disconnected to it. And I remember one time I was doing the movement program and I was just starting with stretching because that was all I could do, maybe 10 minutes of stretching.
Yeah.
And I was lying on the floor and I felt like this wave of like an expansion happening for a couple of minutes.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, I think
It's working.
something's happening.
Wow. Okay. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're an action taker. You're someone who, watching your journey through the program, you really did take action and not just learning the stuff, like absorbing the information, but applying it really like swiftly.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you started to notice those physiological changes relatively early. And you mentioned one of your clients today who's doing really, really well. And you said it's just purely because of her full commitment to the process of implementation. Because we can learn something but not apply it. And applied knowledge is kind of like where the results happen. What were like 3 things that were most helpful early on when you first started the program?
Yeah. So a plan of starting with where I was at.
Where were you at? Like back then at the kind of the, I guess, the not fun part.
Yeah. So like in the beginning stages, I couldn't make my bed, couldn't clean my house. I couldn't cook for myself.
Wow.
I could, but then it would just
feel like crap.
I would just feel like crap. And I wasn't able to leave the house for work. If I went out to like run an errand, like to the grocery store or the market or something, I would use like a motorized scooter or something to get around because of the pain I was in. So it was low. It's pretty low. And I didn't realize that I was still pushing as well at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You started at that low point very gracefully. And I think that's really hard for a lot of people to like accept their low point. How did you accept your low point so fast?
I think I accepted where I was at because I knew that if I wanted it to look any different, it couldn't be. It needed, that was my reality. And if I wanted to wish that I was further along, that I knew that wasn't going to help me in the process. Oh, I wish I could, and it was almost like, yes, like as I said, I could go out and do these things, but that's not appropriate, right? So it became this like radical acceptance, as I like to call it, this radical acceptance of where I was at. And obviously like in the program, these concepts came quickly to me because I knew and like intuitively this concept is here for a reason. Because it's going to get you better. It's not for nothing.
Yeah.
So
there's a method behind everything we do.
Yeah. I just listened.
You do realize how profound that is though, like looking back and probably helping people now because it's not that easy. Like it's so easy to get in your own way. It's so easy to doubt the process. It's so easy to think, oh, maybe it's not going to work for me. Like, is there a mindset that you took on or was it just like, did it just make so much sense to you that you were just like, this is it? Like, what was it? Like, I'm trying to like break it down so it just makes so much sense to someone watching this. Like, okay, I can go and do that too.
At the end of the day, I guess, Toby, I just wanted my health back.
You were committed.
I was the level of commitment. So I am someone who, when I know there's a process in place and this process is the most important piece, right? Not what's on the other side of it, not what's behind you, right? It's the process. And I think I am someone, which I'm thankful that I am, that can stay committed to the process. And in this season of my life, my health was the priority. So I very quickly caught on that if I'm going to prioritize my health, I have to stay in the process of this.
Yeah.
There isn't another way.
Were you measuring time? Like, did you put yourself in that kind of pressure of like, I need to be better within a certain time frame, or did you?
Initially,
Yeah.
but then I kind of let that go. That wasn't a big.
You were able to realize that wasn't useful for you.
Yeah, not super useful.
Looking back, you were a real trailblazer in the program, if you think about it. Like, I know you probably don't see yourself like that, but you know, some members stand out pretty prevalent, and you were one of those people, like constantly doing the check-ins every week, like doing your accountability check-ins, like posting your wins, even if they were small and insignificant, you did it. Your learnings, you were always sharing when things weren't working, you were figuring out how to fix that. But then when things were working, you were also sharing that too. What, apart from like accepting where you're at and then starting with where you're at, what were like some of the other helpful things inside the program that I guess like really resonated with you and then helped you just like see progress?
Yeah.
Like you mentioned you mentioned stretching, like the restorative movement stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
The one thing that stood out for me was your routine was solid. Like you had a plan every day basically, and it would change a little bit.
Yeah.
But like, tell us about like the routine side of things for recovery, because it's so vital that so many people miss, even though it's such a boring concept.
Yeah.
Your daily routine matters so much.
I think I am a pretty routine person, so it was a little easier for me.
Yep.
Right. But if you're someone who's not, there's still ways to find the balance between routine and like flow. Because you do need flow from the perspective of like taking the pressure off of it, so that this doesn't become like your whole life.
Yeah, like, oh my God, it's 9 a.m. and I've got to do this, and like feels like a chore.
Right. So it was intention for me. Like I want my morning to feel intentional. What am I putting in my body? How much water am I drinking? What's my afternoon going to look like? Less time distraction, maybe some time with my face to the sun and nature, just kind of like a little more flow.
Yeah.
But it still represented like this routine and consistency daily.
Yeah. One of your goals was to get back to hiking.
Yeah.
I remember vividly. How did you go from not being able to really do much around the house to like, I remember you did your first hike. I don't know if you remember this, but
I remember.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful. Like, what did that journey look like? Like, how did you get from point A to point B?
So I remember I was sitting on my couch and capacity was super low. And the first thing I said was, first of all, I know that I need to build strength.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be some deconditioning happening. So acceptance of that, right? So it was having the framework within the program with movement and starting there. And then I said, I want to be able to walk from the couch to the end of the street where my mailbox was. And I'm going to just do that daily and just start small. And then it just got bigger and bigger.
And
little by little.
Becomes a lot. Okay, cool. So you kind of broke it. You had the big goal to get back to the hiking, and then you kind of reverse engineered and said, all right, you created smaller goals to get to that big goal. Super smart. Were you a smart person at high school? Like, were you a academic?
Yeah, but only in certain subjects.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this makes sense to me. Just the way that your mind thinks, like, I feel like you utilized a lot of your smartness and your academia to kind of like break things down and make sense for you, and then just like go and implement it. Could be a New York thing too, like the action taking part.
So my dad was a marathon runner too.
Okay,
And
I didn't know
growing
this.
up, I saw his training,
Right.
and I would watch,
Wow.
and I would see how he built up to be able to run marathons. So I had that example as well from like an athlete.
Amazing.
standpoint.
And so you just made it relevant for you.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know that about your dad.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's cool. Side note, did he do the New York Marathon? I'm assuming he would have. Or is it Boston Marathon?
There's one in Boston.
There's a Boston
Yeah.
one. Yeah, it's a big one. Okay. And so, started small, built up your movement tolerance. Because one of the things that people don't understand is that they think that like all movement's bad movement when it comes to chronic fatigue syndrome. But what they don't understand is like appropriate movement's good for recovery, particularly if you do less is more consistently and build up your strength. What was it like going on that first hike? And, did you have the confidence in your body to do it?
So for me, the first hike was I want to just connect to nature.
Okay, this is good. Keep going.
I don't want to get to the top of that hill. I want to just be present because that's why I hike. I don't hike to, yes, it's good for my body, but I do it to be present. And I missed that so much, like that connection. So that was the pull, right? That got me there. And I believe that also helped with the consistency. So there was a why. And I think a vision like around that. And so that came from an intentional place, not like an overachieving.
Yes. So different. It feels different. So it's not about, it's like art. Like I always say, like the best art is, the best art is when you're not trying to like create a finished product. Like you're in the process of making art for the fun of making art.
Yeah.
It sounds like that, but for you with hiking.
Yeah. I just want to be like in the experience of it, right? Like I just did a hike yesterday here.
Yeah.
And it was like the experience of this, not like, oh, I'm going to run up these stairs.
I need to get 10 kilometres. If you did the 10K hike. I think it's maybe longer, actually. It might be 12-kilometre hike.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not about like I need to complete a certain amount of steps or it's just you being in there. And I remember, how long was the first hike you did? Like, it wasn't a really long one.
No, maybe like, for me, it's miles. Maybe like a half a mile.
Yeah, so it was an appropriate hike based off where you're at and how you built up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, you already had the confidence anyway, but I remember you posting the photo of you on the hike, like, I'm in nature. I think it was like, I'm fully present. My goal was to be in nature and surrounded by that. Was there any forks in the road moments for you of like, this is working and I'm just going to keep doing it? Or was that just the feeling the whole way through for you?
It would still like, a little like this. There was times when I probably did a little too much when I started to get better. And I was like, okay, I got to pull back. But I didn't, and I had moments, right, where I was like, oh, this is so hard.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
When you're, it's so normal because we're human to feel like the frustration of it and like the uncomfortableness of it. And it's a letdown when your body is not operating as it used to be, especially if you see yourself as someone who is fairly healthy, like, you know, capable physically. But on the other side of that, I was like, okay, yes, this is hard, but I'm not going to let that like lead this journey. Like there's got to be a reason this is happening. I have to just trust the process of that rather than talk about how hard it is all the time. Like, of course it's hard. Yeah, it's going to be. But if I want my life to be easier, as I've learned from you, hard choices, easier life.
Easy choices, hard life.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is almost like a delayed gratification. But I feel like you enjoyed the moment. You relished in it.
Yeah.
You did. You really relished in it. You relished in the moments, even in the hard moments.
Yeah.
You never looked at anything as bad, even if it was hard. And I think there's something in that.
Yeah.
What are some other things that were super helpful for you? I know you did a lot of mindset work,
I did.
boundaries, really thinking about like your current life and then the future life that you want. Tell us about that, because it's more than just mindset. It's not about positive thinking. You know what I mean? Yeah. Share the unbecoming of that. You know, I know you wrote a book, The Unbecoming, which is phenomenal in its own right later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell us about the unbecoming. Tell us about mindset in general, because it's not really, I think when people say mindset, they think like positive thinking.
Yeah.
It's not really about that.
No, I think so. This whole process was very confronting for me.
You're right.
I was suddenly looking at myself in the mirror and saying, okay, there's some patterns of behavior. For me, it was like a lot of focus on people pleasing and relationships. Relationships that weren't like aligned and wanting to be a fixer, right? And putting myself second in a lot of ways. And I knew that I had to face that and I had to work through it. And being in the program and doing the mindset work and uncovering why that was happening and getting to like the root of that helped me to, that was hard. And like that was like, whoa. And it's hard because you have to step away from the self-judgment and the self-sabotage that happens when you know you've been making choices for a very long time that were detrimental to your health and didn't realize it at the time.
Give me an example of one.
Just being in. So when I was in the program, I went through a divorce while I was in it in a relationship that wasn't aligned, and that's an example of like just having that conversation with yourself,
Being honest with yourself.
Yeah, really, really honest with yourself about what your values are, what's important to you in a relationship, coming from like a very authentic place and trusting and knowing who you are. And that was a piece of my life that was very new to me until I got into the program and started to work through that. Yeah.
Some people would perceive that as bad, like going through a divorce, being honest with yourself. How did you navigate that with grace and come out the other end shining? Because your life is so much better now.
Oh my gosh.
Like through those hard, was it like, I know it was hard, but was it easy because you knew you were stepping into something better? Or was it just like you didn't know that part and you just had to like make the hard decisions and not know?
So here's what I think I realized quickly is that when we start to uncover like our true selves and our authentic selves, which I was able to do through the program, that any choice you make from that place, even if it's hard, even if it's uncomfortable, it's not going to be wrong. So intuitively making really hard choices, even if I couldn't see the result of what that would be.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone said, oh, make this choice and in 5 years from now, you're going to be in Australia hiking and sitting talking to Toby, I would be like, what?
Yeah.
Right? I didn't know that then.
True. Or even working for CFS Health.
Right. Even being in this incredible role.
Yeah, because when you got better, you went back to corporate.
Yeah, I did.
Which is fine. Wasn't a problem until it was for you. But even that was a moment. If we talk about integrating back into life, you when you got better, you went back to corporate. You did that for, I think, 2 or 3 years. And I reached out to you. Funnily enough, you'd always been on my radar. And when we were looking to get another coach, your name popped up straight away. And I remember messaging you and I said, what are you up to these days, Lauren? And you're like, oh, I'm just in corporate. I'm doing this, but I'm looking for something more purposeful and more aligned to how I want to live my life now and who I want to be. And I offered you a role and it was just like the most perfect fit for you. And yeah, even that was a moment in time where you had to make that decision to say, yeah, I'm going to leave. How long were you working in corporate for total?
Oh my gosh.
Long time, no?
20-something years.
So that's a huge decision. But also probably an exciting one. You know what I mean? Because again, there's a knowing in yourself. We go, yeah, no, I'm done here. Powerful. What's one more thing inside the program that I guess helped you the most? And it could be something really practical, tangible, or something that was that maybe not on paper would be like a word that you'd pick, but like something that was just like, yeah, actually this was so useful.
That recovery is possible. And you need a plan. There's got to be a plan in place.
One thing that you did really well is utilize the community. I don't know if you remember this, but like if we searched your name through the community from like,
that one.
did you? Yeah. Like there'd be so many posts. Like there was so many posts of like, and not over the top posts, but just on your journey. Like, hey guys, I'm struggling with this today. What do I do? Or hey guys, I did this and it worked really well. Like just sharing this just in case it helps someone else. I feel like you really use the community to your advantage. And I think there's so many people in the world don't have community, and particularly when they're going through chronic fatigue syndrome. What did the community give you that, because on paper it doesn't sound like much. It's like, oh yeah, you get access to hundreds of other people who are going through the recovery process. But what did that give you?
The sense of community, it's incredible, that space. The way people cheer each other on. I felt seen, I felt heard, I felt understood. I mean, the list goes on. It became this very like special place for me where I felt comfort and safety. And like, again, that I was seen and I was understood, because outside that wasn't a thing. Yeah. And there's nothing quite like that in the world.
Agree.
Yeah. It's very special.
Did your family and friends understand what you're going through, or not so much?
I don't think so. So I feel very lucky that I had support. I had beautiful support from my parents and friends. But I think they showed up supporting, but not necessarily fully understanding.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they did.
Did it matter to you though, because you had the support inside the community and like, because some people get really affected. They're like, oh, they just don't understand. They need to understand. They need to understand. But like, it seemed like you just didn't really care about that. You were just like, yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't need their support to get better. That was up to me, not them. And I didn't need to. There was a lot of hard conversations, and saying no a lot. But again, like the focus was on me.
Yeah. It's funny you say the word focus. Like you were just so focused the whole journey, How long total time were you inside the program from like start to finish till you were like working and living again?
Yeah, I was in the program, I think, for close to 18 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the end in lifestyle integration and just not really, just focusing on life, not recover anymore. Your journey was so transformative that you wrote a book.
Yeah.
And not only that, but you just did so many things. Even before, last year coming on as a team member here at CFS Health. What are some of the, just like off the top of your head, what are some of the things that you've been able to do and achieve and just be over the last few years since getting better?
Yeah, I would say like physically, I mean, I can do what I want, like hiking.
Yeah.
I learned how to swim. My husband taught me how to swim. I didn't know.
Amazing.
Like doggy paddling.
As a surfer and a swimmer, I'm very glad that your husband taught you how to swim. I think it's important. It's an important thing to learn.
I feel like I'm definitely much more conscious of like my meditation practice and my grounding and like the foods that I eat. I feel like the last couple of years that's really been a higher level for me and focus. Obviously I can travel.
24-hour flight.
Yeah.
You've been hanging out with the team. Like you said, you've been on hikes here in Noosa, coaching people as well.
I think my relationships are better.
Yeah.
They're really solid.
Yeah.
I have an incredible community, I think, like at home.
Yeah.
I have a husband who is so supportive. And we're so different, but we just allow that to be.
Yes.
And we celebrate each other's differences, and that's amazing.
So cool. I heard you tell me when you were driving to the airport to come to Australia, he turned on the techno.
Yeah.
And then you were like, what did you say to him?
This isn't the vibe right now.
And he's like, no, let's turn it up. We've got to celebrate. Like,
we got to party. You're going to Australia.
I love the sound of this guy. I can't wait to meet him. He sounds so fun. So good. And from a professional standpoint, what's it been like for you coming on at CFS Health and, being one of the client success team, like ensuring that members are looked after, but also, helping people one-on-one as well inside the program. What's that been like for you?
Yeah, it's amazing. That's hard to put into words. Especially leaving like a work environment that was so like, for me personally, speaking for myself, it's just very like stifling and not expansive at all. It's inspiring. It feels, I feel so blessed to be able to like offer hope and help. But this team, being part of like this team and this community is almost like it's hard to put into words how special it is to be in this space of changing people's lives. Showing them what's possibility. Like, yeah.
It's a big difference, I guess, as well. It's a contrast from corporate world as well. Like so many of our members who come from the corporate background, once they get better, they're like, I don't want to go back to corporate. I want to do something more meaningful when they go through something so meaningful as well, which is cool. 2 questions as we wrap up. Number 1, as a past member, would you recommend the program from a past member standpoint? And what would you say about the program to anyone who's considering it or thinking about it?
Yeah. Yes, I would recommend it highly. I would say that what this program does is, okay, so when you enter this program, it's because you're unwell and you want to get better, right? That's the objective. You want to
Makes
get
sense.
healthy, start living again.
Yeah.
But what I want to say about it is that there's a transformation that happens, and that looks different for everyone, of course, right?
Yeah.
But it becomes this. I always say recovery is temporary. Our health is forever.
Yes.
This ties that together and creates lifestyle changes so that your health becomes sustainable. So that you don't feel that you don't have to look behind you, you're looking forward. And it creates vision and purpose. And it's so unique. I know there's nothing like it in the world.
It's true. That's why literally thousands of people have done it in 78 countries.
Right.
Yeah.
There is nothing like it in the world. You are supported, you're seen, and your the framework is such that it's regardless of where you're at with your health, there's something here for everyone.
Yeah.
Regardless of the stage that you're in with this.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And it's true. We as I always say, we meet people, we meet members where they're at so we can help them get to where they want to be. And lastly, just kind of like, if you could share one message to people who are kind of struggling right now, what would that be?
Yeah. You need to take a breath. Just take a breath. It can be, there's so much online. It's just saturated.
Yeah, there's a lot of information.
Advice and all of these things.
Yeah.
And you have to give yourself some space to allow recovery to happen. And know that it's possible, and it's going to take work.
Yes.
It's not easy.
Yes. Simple, but not easy.
Yeah.
I think a lot of recovery is simple, like the frameworks that we give, the teachings that we coach people through. Recovery is actually not super complicated, but that doesn't mean it's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not easy, but worth it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the uncomfortable, if that feels uncomfortable and that feels hard, like you're probably doing it right.
Well said.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so much on the other side that you might, if I was speaking to someone, you might not even know what's possible.
Yeah.
Like, you owe it to yourself to figure that out.
And I mean, the crazy thing is like, I've got shivers down the back of my spine right now because like you got better, but even you didn't know this, like this is where you would be, what you'd be doing. You know what I mean? Like, even though you got better and you got back to doing your life, like, yeah, you get to choose what you want.
Yeah, it's pretty profound. Yeah, it's like a major life. Yeah, like I've had a lot of life major, like on this trip, a lot of moments of just like awe and like, wow, what if I had said no to my health?
Wow. Thank you so much for doing this interview. I'm going to get emotional. I always do this. You were just so awesome, just as a human being. Like, just always thought you were incredible, even before you started working for CFS Health. But you are so valued in our team, but just so valued in our world. You know, you make such a big difference. So I just want to say thank you so much for being you. Thank you so much for saying yes. You know, and like you said, choosing you and yourself and stepping up and out, because, you know, we wouldn't be so blessed to have you in our world as well. So appreciate you. Give me a hug. You're amazing. I'm so glad you came. Lauren G and Marco. Program wouldn't be the same without you. You're the best.